looking at our home page in Dreamweaver, and I have to point out that through all of these steps, I am making minor adjustments to anything that I see that I want to tweak or adjust a little. For an example, here in the banner division, which actually contains a left banner and a right banner, or left side and right side, I have made that entire banner the same exact background color as the actual banner itself. And the result is, when you look at this now, it looks like these links are actually part of the banner. That's one little tweak. But right now we're going to tackle a major aspect of our site, which is a sliding image gallery. And we're going to put it right in this particular division. Now, before I can consider that, again, to review, I have to make sure that I have the coinsliderstyles.css installed on my page, or connected, linked. I have to make sure that I have the latest jQuery. I have to make sure that I have coinslider.min JavaScript file, and I have to make sure I have coinslider.javascript file, all linked to this website, so that the functionality is there. Next, I have to create 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 source files. Now, I wanted to fill this entire division, so my images have to be 355 pixels by 345 pixels. Now I'm ready to go. The first step will be to replace this placeholder image with an actual image. So I'll move to our images folder, and in the images folder I have created just a couple of images called Gallery 1 and Gallery 2. I'll insert Gallery 1, and it just fits perfectly. Now what I have to do is insert the rest of the images that will slide into that division. The best way to do that is to go to the source code. So I'll move to source code, and here's the actual tag, and all I'm going to do is copy this entire image code and paste it in right below. I'll leave a little white space in between. This time it's not referring to Gallery 1, it's referring to Gallery 2, and I would add this for as many images as I want to use. I'm only going to develop 2 here. Now that I have that set up, it's time to work with JavaScript, and JavaScript will be used to control and trigger these jQuery functions. I'm going to insert a JavaScript section of code below all of the linked jQuery files that I've already set up. And an easy way to do that is to use, in Dreamweaver, go to snippets. And if you open up the snippets panel, way down at the bottom, you'll see a folder with JavaScript code already in it. And you can see a folder called starter script, and that's what you want to install, and we'll insert it right over here. So I'll click the starter script. I guess you have to double click it. There it is. Now what you are telling the computer is, from here to here you are writing in a language called JavaScript. Now we're going to target the jQuery functions, and whenever you target a jQuery function, you start with a $sign. Next, in parentheses, what is the division that I want to work with? And the division started with a $, or it should start with a $, to identify its ID. And our division was called inside right box. And by the way, this should be in a quote. Now, one of the great things about jQuery is it can be a single quote or a double quote, as long as you're consistent. I like to use single quotes for all of my ID references in jQuery. And but quotes, a regular quote would work as well, but it would have to be on each side. All right, and now we add, we put a dot, and that's called dot syntax. We separate elements with a dot, and we want to add the coin slider jQuery. And to start, we always start with a parentheses and a brace. And then underneath that, we have to turn that off. This is a standard programming principle. If you turn anything on, you must turn it off in the opposite order. So right here, I'll turn off the brace, and I'll turn off the parentheses, and it's customary to end every single line of code with a semicolon. We have now said for the inside right box, we want coin slider to function. The next thing we have to do is adjust the actual parameters, and that'll be done in the coin slider CSS file and in the coin slider JS file. Before we go on, if you will look in design view, you'll see that your beautiful page is now pretty well screwed up. That's because the division is now showing 2 or 3 or 4 images, and it doesn't fit. There's an easy way to fix that. If you go to your external style sheet, and this one, remember, we had it all in home styles. If you'll go to your external style sheet and find inside right box, or whatever you've called it, click the pencil tool to adjust it. If you'll move to the positioning category where it says overflow, say hidden. And when you do that, it eliminates any extra space in those any extra images that are shown in that division. Okay, let's go back to source code. Oh, I better save. It's always a good idea to save. And in Dreamweaver, if you say save or save all, you're saving every change you've made to everything. So sometimes when you're working with multiple files, it's a good idea to be safe and say save all. All right, now we're going to go back to source code. Well, specifically, we're going to change the settings in each of these files that we have to adjust. Coin slider, styles, CSS. So if I click on that and go entirely to source code, I'm looking at the coin slider style definitions. And here's all the parameters set by the designer of this, creator of this particular plugin. The title is something that optionally can occur at the bottom of the image. I want to set that to the proper width, and the proper width would be 355. I can change all these other paddings a little bit, or these other parameters a little bit later as I work with it. The next thing we've got to change is the coin slider JS file. So I'll click on that. I'm looking at the code, and I know this again from instructions from the website itself when I downloaded the plugin. But if you'll scroll to the very, very bottom, here are all of the parameters. And for the width, we obviously want this to be 355. And for the height, we want our coin slider plugin to be 345. And you can read through these. Here's the delay. We're going to make it 3,000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. And you can change various things. Do we want navigation? Do we want to be able to control moving from one photo to the next? And we don't, so we'll change that to false. Do we want these pages to be linked? We don't, so we'll change that to be false. Do we want it to pause when our mouse hovers over an image? We'll keep that at true. You can actually adjust all of these parameters. I find it best to experiment once you have it in place. For effect, for an example, inside those quotes, it'll run with it blank, but I'm going to make it the rain effect, whatever that is. You can change it a little bit later on. Okay, I think you have just about everything in place. If you save your page, and to be safe, we're going to say save all. It's now time for us to view it in the browser. We're about to view this in the browser, but before we actually run it in the browser, sometimes a small window will pop up saying, do you want to allow JavaScripts and ActiveX controls to run? This is a setting in browsers, and you would click OK, and then it will run. So I'm going to allow the block content, and now if you'll look at our screen, you should see this image change every few seconds or so, and you can modify it. I only have 2 images changing. So now we should be looking at modifying this. And one way to do that is to add a panel that of words that occur at the bottom of the image. If you want to do that, go back to Dreamweaver, click on the image, go to the source code, and now you can find the image. And according to their instructions, underneath each image, add a span tag. A span tag is simply like a division within the span. So the division has a certain width, and type in this is first uh, my first photo, and turn off the span, and do the same for the second one, for each of them actually. And I'll say this is my second photo, and turn off the span. File save, and file, if you want to be safe, save all. Go back to iExplorer, hit F5, and now you'll see that there's a small little panel that occurs at the bottom. It's translucent. It's a little bit transparent. You can adjust that in the CSS styles. Okay, you've got a rock and rollin' gallery running and fully functional in place.